Hello, happy campers. Welcome back to another episode of Geeking Out. I'm Spike.
And I'm Chris.
That is Chris. And here we go again.
I always do that. I need to stop.
Another wonderful week here at Geeking Out.
Yes.
What do you got to talk about? We've each got about 3 things that we want to talk about here on this episode. I'm going to let him go ahead and throw his first one out. We're going to see. Pick your third best one, and then your second best, then your first best. We'll see who wins this escalating thing. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw one out there,
all
like
right,
a little bonus, because it turns out I had 4 and didn't realize it. Captain Marvel, they're getting ready for the sequel to Captain Marvel. You thought Captain Marvel was woke. New gay hero. They're going to introduce the Hulkling to the MCU. Hulkling has nothing to do with the Incredible Hulk. It's actually one of the Skrulls from the first Captain Marvel movie. And this one apparently is gay, so instead of, turning into a female hero, he turns into a male hero and falls in love with Wiccan, the son of the Scarlet Witch. And in related news, Scarlet Witch in the Marvel Cinematic Universe apparently now has a son.
I don't care. I don't care. Oh, wait. I don't care.
And best part is we're working on a little game we're calling Trigger. We're each going to come up with 3 stories and see how much we can get the other one to rant about it. And whoever wins the best out of 3 wins the game. But that's not this week. Let's go on. Let's go ahead and give me your third best shot, buddy. There, buddy
third
boy.
best shot. Well, should I start with the...
It's up to you. You pick the third best.
I got some good ones here.
Well, come on.
I just don't know which one.
Give me a sucky one first.
A sucky one?
Yeah, you got 3 of them, right?
All right.
3 sucky ones?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, give me the third sucky one.
All right. I'm going to go with Dark Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hold on.
Do you remember that?
Don't hit a guy with glasses. Come on, buddy. Right between the eyes. Come on. Let me have it. Come on. Bring it.
Apparently, Universal has decided to continue on their Dark Universe, even though they tried to do that a long time ago. Now, in case you guys totally forgot or don't know exactly the whole story on that, Universal is responsible for all the old classic monsters. Dracula, Frankenstein, all of them.
The Werewolf, all the other
the
classic stuff, yeah.
They was wanting to reboot all that and take all the old classic monsters and put them in this day and age and try to convert it all to where it would match up just like how MCU does it.
Because everybody has to have a universe.
Yes.
And I think I said this when we were first discussing it. Everybody has to have a universe, except, ironically, Universal cannot get a universe together.
Exactly. So they tried to do it with The Mummy, the one with Tom Cruise, and that movie flopped big because it sucked. So anyways, they're going to try it again with director Paul Feig, and if he did the last Ghostbusters movie, all females and stuff like that. Nothing that it was, the whole all-female thing was bad or none. It's just how they executed itself by committing suicide.
How they executed the entire cast for making that film?
Yeah.
That was career suicide right there, buddy.
But anyways, he was doing a movie called, this is from Deadline, called Dark Army, which is going to have a mixture of all the classic monsters in it. So basically, it sounds like they're remaking Monster Squad, which was the exact same thing.
So this is called Dark Army?
Yes.
Not Army of Darkness?
Nope. Called Dark Army.
Me.
Let's do it.
I don't care. All right. So yours, yeah, that did suck, to be honest. Now it's time for my suckiness. This is the suckiness of the three I've got. Sesame Street has a spinoff coming.
Of course they do.
Now, remember, Sesame Street, the guys at PBS and the Children's Television Workshop are so bad at managing money, okay? They can't even make it with Sesame Street's merchandising, okay? So they had to pimp out the street to HBO like several years ago. HBO is paying the production budget for Sesame Street. It's been reduced to a half hour because HBO doesn't want to pay for a whole hour of programming at a time. So, hey, your kids, screw your kids. It's the money, okay? So, HBO and by extension, it's now Warner Media, basically. Now AT&T has been paying for Sesame Street. Now there's a spin-off and Apple is paying for this one. It's called Helpsters. Say that 3 times fast. Helpsters.
Helpsters.
That all the denture wearers in America are sitting there scratching their heads trying to figure out how to say Helpsters. This spinoff will be on Apple's new TV Plus program, their little service that they've got coming up, because everybody must have a service except Universal, which cannot have a Universal. Now, this is supposed to be promoting STEM education. This is the big sexy in education right now: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, those are the 4 on STEM.
Which ain't bad.
For a little while, some idiots tried to call it STEAM and add arts into the middle of it, but they gave up on that. It's back to STEM. Okay. So they are going to be teaching preschoolers about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Why does everybody care about STEM? Because coding. Coding for, like Apple devices requires science, technology, engineering, and math knowledge.
Yeah.
So let's get them while they're young, teach them about STEM, get them interested in coding, and then get them coding for Apple before the authorities find out and start pursuing child labor charges against them, I guess. Understand, Apple doesn't give a rat's crap about child labor because it's just about all of their iPhones up to this point have involved child labor in one form or another. Yeah, go ahead and lawyer up, Apple. Sure. Please tell me all about it. I would love to see you defend that in court, buddy, because all the stinks coming out about China. But, so this is the new thing. So it's not enough to have Sesame Street pimped out. Now they're selling off spin-offs to the highest bidder. Apple wins this one to try to attract new coders for the future.
I mean, I can't say nothing about that because, you're talking about a guy who could not even figure out my Roku.
Yeah, I had to finish his Roku setup for him. But he is set up, and what's the number one thing you're watching tonight, buddy? Pluto TV.
Actually, yeah.
I'm telling you guys, Pluto TV is a little bit of freaking awesome. They do have the 007, and they just added the new sci-fi channel. Not sci-fi, S-Y-F-Y, S-C-I-F-I. Pluto TV Sci-Fi.
It's amazing.
Trust me, and it's all got all, and as usual with Pluto TV, it's all kinds of weird British stuff.
And they're not paying us to
we don't
promote
get a dime
them,
from them.
But everybody who has literally taken our advice have came back saying that they love it. So
free of charge. So
yeah,
go ahead. There's ads in it, and if you're that,
it's just like watching regular TV.
The biggest complaint about Pluto has been the ads in it. If you are that anal about
I don't care about
ads. What are you doing watching us? Because you're watching us on YouTube. There's going to be ads along eventually.
Ad.
Even though we don't get a dime from YouTube on monetization on it. But hey. Yeah. Oh well. Okay, so let's hear your number 2, buddy.
All right. I want to go ahead and do this one because I think we should say a very big farewell, a rest in peace to Movie Pass. That's right. You remember Movie Pass?
Who didn't call that like 2 or 3 years ago? When it
they should have gave up on that a long time ago. In case you guys haven't... Look, Movie Pass, I don't know how long it's actually been around. But here lately, well, for the last year, actually, they've been having big issues. Really big issues. Now, I'm not going to read, I didn't even write down the whole article because the guy who's over Movie Pass literally tried to blame it on a bunch of different things. He's literally blowing stuff out of his butt, okay? Because we know the truth. They kept on going back and forth with prices. They kept on going back and forth with the website wouldn't work. This was happening. That was happening. And it was just like constantly, every week, something was happening with MoviePass. Finally, it's dead. It's gone. They killed it. They pulled the plug. And honestly, sayonara. I was about to get it. Everybody was telling me to get it. You was even telling me to get it. But then I was watching Collider, which you guys should really check out. It's another entertainment news thing. And that's all they talked about for a good few months there. Nothing but MoviePass and how badly they suck. Yeah. It's dead. It's gone.
The big problem with MoviePass, I'll tell you there's two reasons why MoviePass went away, okay? First of all, their business model, seriously, the business model was idiotic to begin with because they didn't break deals with any of the movie studios. None of the movie studios wanted this, okay, because it wrecked their economic models. Now, of course, you've got movie chains like AMC and all the others are piling on with their own movie pass versions that are actually work a lot better, okay? So if you see any of those, yeah, you can give them a try. MoviePass, on the other hand, like I said, they were an independent group. They had the movie theaters against them. They had the movie studios up against them. They were surrounded on all sides, and it was just a circular firing line all the way around. So that's number one. The number two reason that MoviePass finally died is because every time they sent out promotional material, they had to send out some rose seeds with it because you had to get some use out of all that bullshit they were sending out.
Yeah. And might
as well grow some roses with it if you're going to do that.
Most of the big things that they were like literally trying to sell was basically, you know, hey, you can watch these big brand name movies and you can watch it for this price instead of watching just a regular movie that, you know, that isn't a comic book movie or something like that for this price. Well, they actually did that for a little bit. And the only thing that you could actually get that is if you lived in like major cities like, oh, I don't know, Los Angeles. Like, that's as far as that range went. It didn't go everywhere, just Los Angeles. The AMC theater, actually. That's it.
When I first told you, this is the last thing we'll say on this. When I first told you about MoviePass, I told you and Beth, the co-host of over on the Noobs with Bubes channel, I told you guys both about when I first heard about it, and I was like, here's what it is, here's how it works. You need to get in on it because the last thing I told you, it's not going to last that long. It's not going to make it. Because this is doomed. Get in and enjoy the ride while you can. And sure enough, like a shambling shibboleth that's finally fell apart. Yeah. Okay, my number two for this week is about Amazon's new Lord of the Rings prequel. Yes, a prequel. Okay,
now, prequel. I don't know how this could suck, but I am waiting to hear what you got.
They have not worked out all of the kinks out of the storyline yet. It's going to be a little while out, probably a couple of years minimum, maybe 3 or 4 if they're doing it right. This is supposed to take place anywhere between 500 and 5,000 years before the events of Lord of the Rings. So, remember how well that worked out for Star Wars doing prequels after the first set of movies? Spoiler alert on this new Amazon series, they're not going to destroy the ring, okay? Now, Amazon actually spent $250 million for the rights to this. That's how much the J.R.R. Tolkien estate got for the rights to writing prequels, okay? And the Tolkien, here's the weird thing, that's not the highest bid. Amazon actually got outbid by several other studios that wanted to do the prequels, like Warner Brothers. They They really wanted to do it. But Warner Brothers, look at the sales on DC Comics. They don't know how to sell books. The Tolkien estate was looking down the road. They wanted somebody who knew how to sell books, who sells books better than Amazon. So as a result,
Gotcha.
just since the deal was announced a short while ago, the Tolkien's publisher has doubled its profits. That's how much the interest shot up as soon as people heard about the Amazon prequels. So that's my number 2 story.
And these are all books, not TV series, right?
It's going to be a TV series on Amazon Prime.
See, now
The idea is to drum up interest in all of other J.R.R. Tolkien's other books.
See,
that's
now,
why they did it.
I bet you if it wasn't for the success of Game of Thrones, they wouldn't actually try this.
Probably not, although they're threatening a prequel for that, too.
Yeah.
For Game of Thrones.
They've already said that they was going to do that, which
because you did so well with the last episode, right? Even though the fact that George... What is it with the R's, anyway? With these guys? Martin, the creator of Game of Thrones. He says he's still got... Yeah, George R.R. Martin, right?
Yeah.
He's still got, I think, 2 books left, he said, to write. He's writing 2 more books to finish out his Game of Thrones saga. And he just took a look. Apparently, he's looked at what the TV guys came up with and said, hey, that's great, guys. I'm not doing that. Smart man. But I'll tell you what, I'll bet you anything that was his idea to begin with. That was how he was going to wrap the books, and then and then when it blew up in the producers' faces, he's like, "Well, I'll find something else to do." That is a very smart author, I'll tell you.
Yes, it is. That's actually pretty darn good. Nobody was happy about the end of Game of Thrones. I mean, right?
I was, because I thought it was the greatest laugh riot ever. I haven't seen it. I just love the reaction of all the GOT fans.
You're going to get so much hate now.
Oh.
From me, too. Oh, my goodness.
On behalf of myself and the other 98% of humanity that couldn't care less about Game of Thrones, let me just say one very simple message. There you go. Thank you. Now, your number 1, buddy. Speaking of, give me your number 1.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that this actually sucks, though, but here's one. James Gunn, the writer and director of Guardians of the Galaxy movies, remember how they got rid of him because of some tweet that he put on a long time ago? Well, he went over to DC and did his own Suicide Squad movie. So he released the entire cast of it. Now, I didn't write all the cast members down because it was actually a long list. But the important ones I did write down. So, of course, you have Margot Robbie coming back as a Harley Quinn. You have Idris Elba, Michael Rooker, Nathan Fillion. Don't know who he's going to play, but I can't wait. John Cena.
Captain Boomerang. I'd pick that one.
No, actually, Jai Courtney, who played Boomerang in the first Suicide Squad movie, is coming back. So I'm guessing he's Jai Courtney.
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
I don't know.
That shows how much of an impact he had in the first movie.
Well, I mean,
So
people actually...
Great job hanging on to him.
Well, see, the people actually knew him from something else. I honestly had no idea who he was, but they're like, Jai Courtney playing Boomerang? What on earth? And I'm like, who's Jai Courtney? Sorry. I apologize for the actor. I mean, I'm sorry. Or to the actor, I'm sorry. But also, this is fascinating. Taika Waititi, or I cannot pronounce the dude's name. He directed Thor Ragnarok. He's a great director. Very funny, sarcastic dude.
He made the only Thor movie I actually liked. So,
yeah. He's playing in this movie. I don't know.
Of course he is, because of his own name.
Which Tiki is actually getting a lot of heat because he has a new movie coming out that he wrote and directed and starring in called Jojo Rabbit, where he plays Hitler as a boy's imaginary friend.
Oh my God! I gotta see this train wreck. So, this is going to be the most spectacular satire of the year, or this is going to be the biggest train. Either way, I got to see this one at some point.
Well, the Jojo the Rabbit.
Jojo the Rabbit. I got to see this.
Yeah,
one.
the trailer's already out, so I'll show it to you later. But yes. Anyway, yeah. So that's the
no spoilers. I'll wait. Go ahead.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. The thing about Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn in this one, though, is that there is people saying that they are not going to have Jared Leto's Joker in this movie, which honestly
saves the movie.
Seems to hurt a lot of fans. At least that's what the article said, and I'd like to know who did it hurt. Because I'm sorry, look, I love Jared Leto. He is actually a really good actor.
But he's a lousy Joker.
And fantastic singer.
He's a lousy Joker.
Yes.
He's a lousy Joker.
Who wants a pimp Joker?
And besides, you've already got a Joker movie coming out. And coming out October 1st. We need to see what... And it's now 75% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is interesting.
Which is up from where... When it first posted on RT, it was pretty low. Now... Could that be because all the woke critics jumped on it first and just gave a knee-jerk reaction? Now people have actually seen the movie, are starting to review it, and it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was being given credit for in the beginning. And of course, you know, I'm going to make a prediction right here. Okay.
All right, go.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Go for it.
Now, my first initial thought. When the low grades for the new Joker movie were coming out on Rotten Tomatoes, was that the audience score is gonna pop at 99 to begin with. It's gonna Chappelle. Okay, it's gonna Chappelle. It'll have a low critic score and a sky high, impossible to match audience score. But the critics are starting to come around on the Joker movie. Like I said, it's at 75%, which takes that initial low offer and brings it up. I bet you a backlash forms to this because the woke people were criticizing it because who wants to see a white male protagonist terrorizing innocent people? Woke people, social justice warriors. This is how you see the universe. You see every white male as a potential Joker. This reinforces your point of view. How long before the backlash hits and I predict the audience RT score on this hits the floor. Watch the entire script flip between now and October 1st. Now, if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. I've blown BS before. Like I said, tomato seeds. But I'll bet you it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks until that debuts.
I mean, yeah, I say you're totally right on that. I mean, I still got mixed feelings about this movie. I'm hearing words of this movie is a cinematic masterpiece and things like that being thrown around. And I'm like, well, no, that's big talk right there. I'm a Batman fan. I don't know why we need a Joker origin story, but if you're going to do it, I saw it. I don't know. Like, none of the trailers for this movie really makes me say, ooh, I want to go see this. It just makes me go like, wow, this seems like a really depressing movie. That's all it screams to me. It doesn't say, I'm the Joker, I'm going to create chaos. It's just, I am very depressed. That's all it's really throwing to me. So I want to go see it, but I don't know. It's like, I don't want to see a movie that makes me go, oh. Yeah.
The Joker, look, the reason I never watched Friday the 13th movies. Same reason I don't watch Halloween movies up until this last reboot. I watched it just for the amusement of it. I don't watch horror movies at all. The reason I don't is because a villain without a hero is a slasher movie.
Yes.
Joker without Batman is a slasher movie. If you can make a point, if you actually have a point to make about psychiatry, psychology, and their roles in the definition of modern culture and the definition of sanity, hey, have at it. It can be done. Do you think Hollywood's going to pull it off today? No.
No, and they
No, this is going to be a slasher film. They have this bad feeling of already seeing reports that it's intensely graphic violence. I don't know if I really, really need to put up with 2 hours of that, and then
I
give
haven't
up
heard
10
that
hard-earned
part.
shekels in order to do it.
I just haven't heard that part, but I'm saying that there's more story. If there is any, really hardcore violence, it sounds like that there's more story than what there is actually chaos.
See, here's what I would do with the Joker movie. Okay,
Go
you ready?
for it.
Here we go.
Please.
Here's what I would do with the Joker movie. Okay, you got your first Joker movie already out.
Okay.
It's filmed. It's in the can. It's ready to hit. Okay, let it go.
Okay.
The second one, I want to tell an origin story.
Okay.
All over again. I'm going to start from the beginning. It's going to be a different guy, and I want to tell the origin story of the Joker, and I'm going to end the movie. And I'm not even going to refer to the first one. And then I'm going to come up with the third movie, and it's going to be an origin story. And it's going to take a brand new guy, and we'll start from the beginning. Boom, 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 boom. This is how he becomes the Joker. And then at the end of the movie, we'll bring all three of them together. There are three Jokers, just like they postulated in the comic books. There are three Jokers. Each one is going to terrorize Batman in a whole new and unique way, and then they just take turns screwing with him in the fourth movie. You do a Batman movie after that, the three Jokers. Money, money,
Here's an
money.
idea. Here's an idea. What if one of the Jokers, and you can put this in the fourth or fifth film, one of the Jokers is actually Alfred.
The butler who laughs. Yeah, I can see that. All right, hey, bring the Batman who laughs into the fourth one. Because, hey, Batman can handle a Joker. He barely. Probably can't handle two. Likely can't handle three, but then throw the Batman who laughs on top of it and have the Batman who laughs go after the three Jokers.
Or have one of the Jokers actually come up with a way to clone the original Batman, and then he takes over as Batman but kills the original Batman, and then the entire time we're stuck with an imposter Batman.
The Batman who laughs. Yeah. Okay, now, the best part is we've still got to get to my number three.
All right,
my top one,
What
okay?
you got?
Star Trek Picard. This is what I found out about this so far, okay? They're looking at a release of mid-2020. This is coming to CBS All Access. There are mutterings about that this may get some play on CBS or on the CW. Okay, Star Trek Picard. You've heard good stuff and bad stuff. If you've been paying attention, you've heard all kinds of stuff about it. Okay, now Alex Kurtzman is the producer on this. Okay, he's the guy who's been involved in the. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. The two good Star Trek films, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He was one of the producers there. Okay, now. He says that Picard's life was radically altered by the dissolution of the Romulan Empire. Now, I'm not as much on my Star Trek as I used to be, okay? But it was the destruction of Romulus in, what was that movie? I think that was Nemesis? One of them. Anyway, this is back before the 2009 reboot. It was the destruction of Romulus that led to Nero, the bad guy in that movie, going back in time trying to stop it. That leads to the 2009 Kelvin timeline. Okay?
Okay.
So...
Are you following this?
But, here's the thing. That Kelvin timeline, the series does not take place in the Kelvin timeline. This is in the original timeline. The original universe is back. Picard's going to take place in it. But, if speculation bears out, this is going to explain how the two are related to each other. And Michael Chabon is now the showrunner on Picard. He's the guy who did Cavalier and Clay, and he also co-wrote Spider-Man 2, the one with Dr. Octopus. You know, as in the one I consider the best Spider-Man movie of all time. And a very, very talented writer and a guy who can definitely take some weird concepts and just wrap them all up in kindness. He's like almost like the Candyman of comic book movies by this point. He hasn't done a lot of them, but when he does, they're freaking brilliant. I mean, I haven't seen this much. J. Michael Straczynski level. That's where Michael Chabon should be, is at JMS level. But right up there with him and the guy at Marvel,
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige, the one who's been responsible for all the creative stuff and the cinematic thing. Michael Chabon is capable of that. If anybody can make sense of Star Trek, he's a good bet to do it. So there just might be, don't hold me to it, but there just might be hope left for the Star Trek universe.
All I'm hearing is yes, 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 and more yes. Give me. I like Picard. It seems like they did this once before in one of the Star Trek generations where he did, like, he was older and everybody split their ways, but something happened to where they had to come back. It was, Picard was like going from a life of the future to the past and was going back and forth in time and was trying to connect all the pieces.
That was one of the Cupisodes, wasn't it?
I think so. I'm not really for sure, but it was a good episode.
But if you're going to bring the two continuities together and make them one continuous, a multiverse.
Tricky.
Now, if it is tricky, but if done properly, this gets Star Trek and their parent company, Paramount CBS, thank God they finally managed to get that sorted out. This is the payoff to that merger, and it gives to Star Trek the first cinematic multiverse, where now all of a sudden you can do pretty much whatever you want, which is what Marvel is desperately trying to do with their films. They want a multiverse so they can get away from their set MCU continuity.
Yeah.
Because, damn it, that continuity just drags you down after a while. That's the big drawback of shared universes.
Sadly.
And don't forget that CBS All Access is also working on a number of Star Trek shows. So they've already got Discovery out there. They're working on Lower Decks, which is I think the show about the two red shirts. And they've got an animated show coming to Nickelodeon. They've got all this other stuff coming up. All of it, if they can spin out a Trek multiverse, every lick of it becomes canon.
I know there's a bunch of people out there be like, who cares about Star Trek?
Who cares about Star Trek? Trekkers, nothing makes them drip from moisture like canon. Okay. Knowing a show is canon, knowing a story is canon, knowing how it fits in seamlessly with the rest.
I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan too. But the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars is that Star Wars is surrounded by one group of people.
Who are lousy at storytelling.
Star Trek, they actually go and explore space. Which is what they're supposed to do. Go to different planets. Get into mischief, get into trouble finds them. It's more interesting. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is a little bit more interesting. Still like Star Wars, but Star Trek is actually...
I'm going to say one more thing. Let's wrap this up because it's that part of the show where I start harping over the fact that we just went over 30 minutes. Okay. Big difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. Okay. Star Trek is science fiction. Okay, now I'm going to get... If this gets out, we've only got 4 or 5 people watching each of these episodes. But if this gets out, Star Trek is science fiction. Okay? Star Trek is about the technology. It's about meeting alien races and learning how to coexist with them and learning how to take your beliefs and your culture and embrace something new, different. In other words, this was woke back in the 60s. Okay? This is like old school woke. This is what woke wishes they could be. And quite frankly, what I wish woke would be. But that's Star Trek. That's science fiction is allegory. Star Wars is a frickin' soap opera. Has been from the start. Mm-hmm. It's all about the characters. It's all about what kind of over-the-top crap can we come up with to put these people through that'll keep people watching the movies. They got away from that in the prequels. They have completely screwed it up with the sequels. And now here comes number 9 which last I heard they're testing 6 different endings. 6 different endings. They're trying to. They have 6 different endings for Star Wars 9. They're exposing audiences to all 6 of these to see which one appeals to them the most, because they don't know how to wrap this crap up.
See,
J.J. Abrams cannot figure out how to wrap this.
I know exactly how to wrap it, but people won't listen to me.
I would put a freaking lightsaber through every one of their heads and just make the Star Wars 10 about Chewbacca.
I mean, I thought the reason why they just like killed off Luke and all that stuff, I thought maybe it would be just a great idea that now that the old is laid to rest, take the new cast and just have them take the ship, Chewbacca, and just go out there in space and just do different things, and in the Luke and all that stuff behind, and just do something new and different, and that this next one would be the one that ends it all for that storyline, and then just start something new. But they won't.
Of course not. There's too many billions to be printed, supposedly. Well, that's what we think. What do you all think? Let us know down in the comments. Get a hold. Yeah, we actually have a Facebook page now, believe it or not.
Yes.
I still couldn't even tell you what the hell it was.
Spike and Chris
Spike and
is
Chris.
what it's called.
Because I would not set up a group. I went ahead and just set up a whole new page, because screw Facebook.
So yeah, you can get on Facebook, go over there to Spike and Chris, or you can go over to Movie Geek and get a hold of us, and
or
see
you can go to
what's
Twitter and Who What Where, because we've got that's
Twitter.
the channel's Twitter. We've got VK, which is the Russian site for some lunatic reason I signed up for. You didn't know VK was the Russian site? We're over there.
What the hell
We're
have you done to us?
We're Who What Where over at VK.com. That's the Russian Facebook right there. And actually, it's more like a Russian Twitter. I did that just for the fun of it, but
Oh gosh!
we are everywhere, buddy, and we are growing.
Oh boy!
Please don't ask me about the podcast, because I'm still trying to get my head around that, and hopefully I can get those up before I wind up deleting all those episodes somehow. But for those of you who can't watch YouTube and would rather hear us drone on and on about this garbage, by all means, we will come up with a podcast at some point. It'll just be this crap over and over. Because why are we going to do anything creative? Because we don't do anything creative on this show. Chris, last words. Exactly. So until next time, I'm Spike. That's Chris.
Wait.
What? We'll see you next time.
Alright, you know what?
I'm geeking
Check
out.
out his new show, Chore Duty, on our YouTube channel. Go check that out.
Oh yeah, and this next one's going. The next episode of the Chore of Duty's coming up. I'm trying to debate. I'm either going to do the real history of the Democrat Party, or I'm going to do Y'all Need Jesus. I'm not sure which one yet. It's going to be one of those. So until next time, I'm Spike. That's Chris. We'll see you next time on Geeking Out. Godspeed, y'all. Bye.